Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the New Player Guide to Retail World of Warcraft. My name is Yogurt. I'll be your host this evening as we continue the grind in Mythic Plus. For those just joining, our goal with this character, although we're running severely low on time, is to get 3K Mythic Plus rating and the Ahead of the Curve achievement. And season 2 of the War Within ends on Tuesday. So we're going to make a big push this weekend and try and get through as much as we can. I don't know if we're going to make it. But to start off, got a vault to open. We're going to make sure we're set to the right loot spec. We're still outlaw. And let's see what we get. Interesting. Not the best here. So looks like we have it's complete 2 delves, so we need to complete 2 +8s. So we have a champion 4 out of 8 shoulder, big upgrade over what we have right now, and we have a hero cloak crit mastery. Still a solid upgrade here. Also have a veteran weapon, champion shoulders, so 2 champion shoulders. Veteran from LFR, and already have pretty good pants, if I recall. So, a couple options here. We could take the champ track shoulders, catalyze the hero track pants, get our 4 set, and be on our merry way. We could take the hero cloak because it does have the highest. Well, there's a lot of people on tonight. It does have the highest armor track. However, getting a hero track cloak I don't think would be that bad. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to start off with time walking. Oh yeah. A good week for us to end on. So the weekly quests here, we have a Scarred Path Through Time, 5 time walking dungeons, gets us a hero piece, and then Emissary of War, completing 4 mythic dungeons, also gets us a hero cache. So we are just gonna start grinding. BFA, Battle for Azeroth, time walking. We're gonna jump right into that queue. And if you've joined us before, you're pretty familiar with some of these weekly quests. Currently, we're working through Turbulent Timeways at the end of the season, the last week. So our last time walking before season 3 launches. And it's a great way to get gear. They'll reward you with this cache of Undermine Treasures, heroic item level. It is random from the raid. It's a random piece of hero gear from the raid. So we're going to hold off on picking from our Great Vault. You don't have to pick it right away, right? Once you open it, nothing will change. But if we just so happen to go in and do these 5 time walking dungeons or these 4 mythic dungeons and we get a heroic cloak, easy pickup here is the champion shoulders, since they're our second best. Although honestly, we're gonna get this anyways. We can catalyze these, we can catalyze the pants, and we'll be good to go. So we'll see. We'll get through the time walking dungeons at least. I don't think we'll wait for the Emissary of War, but we'll start there. So we're in this queue. Timing queue for a DPS player is 7 minutes. So we're definitely going to try and queue up if we get a group. We don't care about that quest. We don't care about that quest. We do want to keep doing our delve quest. We might do the Radiant Echo. The Delve quest is going to award us a piece of champ gear, so that's good. And then we should also have, I think we actually still have a weekly quest. Dungeons. Complete any seasonal dungeon. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Or complete one overcharge delve. We're going to do both of those. So Pinnacle Cash, I think will get us some veteran gear. But what do we do while we wait for this queue time? So we got a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. Let me just get a piece of paper out too. It's my last piece of paper on my notepad. I'll be darned. So we wanted to talk about professions. And we wanted to talk about crafted gear. We kind of started talking about crafted gear last time. We were putting together what our first crafted piece is going to be. And actually, that's what we'll do in between the campaigns there is we'll be progressing the liberation of Undermine, or between the Q pops, we'll be progressing the liberation of Undermine campaign, because what we want to do is we want to get a we want to get a Runed Heroic Crest. You get a free Enchanted Runed Undermine Crest for completing the Liberation of Undermine campaign and killing the final boss on any difficulty. So we can pop into story mode, pop into LFR, kill that, and we'll be able to craft a big weapon. So the first thing I was doing was, because I only have 27,000 gold, I just wanted to take a look at what the cheapest ones to craft would be. So Charge Slicer takes 15 alloy total, and then the Everforged Mace takes 13, but 10 of those are sanctified. So there are add-ons that will make this faster. In fact, do I have one? He just left anyways. Add-ons, I believe it's Auctionator. Inventory, professions, craft scan. I think craft scan would work too. Huh. Must be craft scan. I swore it was Auctionator. Maybe Auctionator is just missing. Let's go get it. Auctionator is a nice little add-on. I really like it because it makes selling really quick. If you want to get super into professions, there are plenty of add-ons that you can use. If you want to flip stuff on the auction house, looks like it might be craft scan. Oh, it's not enabled. If you just want to flip, if you want to flip stuff on the auction house, there's plenty of add-ons out there that can help you do that. But if you're just looking to sell things quickly and looking for prices, I definitely recommend Auctionator. It will, under the selling tab, it'll give you plenty of options or plenty of recommendations, an easy way to sell things. So normally you would just see buy, sell, auctions, Auctionator adds shopping, selling, canceling, and Auctionator. And under selling, you can just click on the item. It'll show you what the other ones are going for. And then you can also set it to either match that price or undercut. So if you want yours to be the cheapest on the auction house, you can absolutely do that.
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders.
Wow, are these really selling for that much? So I'm just configuring this really quick in case we want to sell some more stuff. So by default, the auction house in World of Warcraft recently changed 2 expansions ago. Is actually a last in first out method. So you want to have the shortest duration, and then you don't have to worry about undercutting for certain things that sell quickly, like trade goods. But for things like armor, you might want to undercut a little bit. So, all right, we're doing BFA dungeons. This is freehold. I don't think I've ever seen anybody go this way, but we can. Wait, can we just skip to the last boss? We'll see. A lot of people didn't really like Battle for Azeroth. I think, honestly, it was one of my favorite expansions. I just really like the theme. And I thought it was when things started to get a little bit more fun. Are we really just going to the last boss? I didn't think that you could do this. I don't know. Maybe you can. Oh, I'm just trying. Well, we'll see what happens. We're looking at Scarred Path Through Time. This is the quest. Obviously, you can see stuff here is dying pretty quick. We've only fought one boss. This boss, pretty straightforward. You will put these cannons on your group members, and that will reduce the amount of area that you have to work with. They put fire on the ground. Wow, I didn't know you could just kill the last boss. That's awesome. See if I can get him to join as a party. Sweet. Nice. Wait a minute. I fucked up. It is a refresher. I accidentally, so apparently I just put us in the random war within dungeon instead of the timewalking dungeon, so whoops. He said it's a refresher because this is going to be one of the dungeons for the next season. This is Arakara, or Arakara. That's not what I wanted to do. One of the unfortunate things that can happen when you do something like that is, if we just left, we would get the deserter debuff, which is a real shame. I wish there was a way for us to just, all together agree to queue into a different dungeon, but that's not the case. So we're just continuing to do the dungeon so that we don't get that deserter buff and we can get back into time walking as quick as possible. Because this is going to be a dungeon in season 3, I'll kind of explain this one. So basically, like, as you're going in here, you want to kill these 3 lieutenants. So there's one here, there's one on this middle platform, and there's that one on the far platform, and that's what summons this boss. And then you also, it's the first boss, and then you also want to clear this first platform because this boss does end up taking a little bit of your time. We don't need to do that here simply because we're going to kill this boss so quickly. But the boss summons these little eggs. You want to, if you're a tank, you want to tank the boss away from the eggs because they will hatch and they will start targeting party members and walking towards them. And then he also does this like echoing screech that will do damage, and it will cause the DPS players to leave puddles underneath them. So you have to move when that's happening. And then there's nothing too particularly crazy about the trash. I mean, you want to kick AoEs like that one. You want to focus down the priority targets. There are a decent amount of mobs that kick or that require kicks, so I would recommend trying to help group them together as best you can, but you really do want to focus on that volley. These mobs do an alarm shrill that can only be hard CC'd. If they get the cast off, they will summon some more packs that you'll have to fight. So you want to stun them or knock them up, whatever it might be. And then this last pull before we go into the next room, there's 2 of them. So obviously we're doing this on normal right now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so they're dying super quick, but obviously on higher key difficulties, they don't die so quick, so you gotta take care of them. And then on this boss, you can see he's got these little insect swarms around him. He'll summon those throughout the encounter, and he does a frontal like this. There you can see the insect swarm, so you don't want to stand in that. And then normally what he does when you're not on normal and you're on a mythic difficulty is he'll do a phase where he summons a big insect swarm, and you'll see like huge swarm of insects. The outside of a circle around the boss will turn green, and it just brings the party together into a centralized point. There will be a debuff that requires a defensive, and you don't want to step outside the circle because you'll take damage. And when the debuff falls off, a little tornado will spawn that you want to stay out of. So, and then normally on the Mythic Plus difficulty, groups will go around the outside instead of going down the middle, and they'll usually do that for trash percent that they don't need at the beginning. Then this is the final boss. It's a nice 3-boss dungeon. This boss will do an AoE, these erupting webs. You'll see these blood workers come in from the side, and when you kill them, they drop these little puddles. The boss's other ability will suck everybody in. So I'm going to queue for the right one, but it won't let me. And looks like we lost our... Nice. We lost our healer, but we didn't lose our tank, which means we can keep the tank queue, which is great. So the boss will suck everybody in, and you want to go into one of those purple puddles. It'll root you in place, and a little globule will spawn around you. Oh, that's so sad. No, what? Oh, man. Okay. Well, we're just going to leave now, too. That's a shame. A little globule will spawn on you. So he roots you into place. You don't get sucked into the boss and die. And then you can CC the globule or kick the globule, and it'll release you from the tether there. Okay, so back to where we were. We were on Auctionator. We're queuing up for our time walking dungeon again. And we're trying to compute costs. So Auctionator helps you sell things, and then in terms of cost computation, you can track a recipe, and then you can search for the recipe just with one click. So if we want to know what the cost of reagents are going to be for crafting, we can find that really, really simply. So for the mace, we need 2 null stone, which are pretty cheap, 50 gold each. So 100 golds. Sorry, say 80 golds. We need a Storm Touch weapon wrap for both of them. We want it to be rank 3, so that's 289. And then 10 sanctified at 232 is 2320. And 3 iron claw 627. Oh my god. Is 1881. So our cost for the mace would be about 4,500 gold. I have a feeling it's going to be cheaper than the other one. Charged alloy is only 549. So already for the charged alloy, we're looking at 4,590. So we're going to go get the mace for sure. That's the one we're going to be crafting, and we're just going to buy the stuff while we're here. So 2 nullstone. The other cool thing is when you search for this, when you search for the recipe using Auctionator, and then you click on the item, we need nullstone, it's going to automatically set the quantity to what you need for the recipe that you searched for. So we'll buy 2 of these. We'll buy 10 of these. 1 wrap. 3 iron claw ore. So that's going to get us our mace. Now the other thing that we need while we're here is some of the optional reagents. So with when you craft a weapon or when you craft armor, by default, if you just put these, the spark, and the other reagents into the crafting request, it will give you a random stat allotment on your gear. We can purchase what are called Algari missives, and they will provide the following properties: replaces random stat with Quick Blade, for example, versatility and critical strike. versatility and mastery, versatility and haste is the one that we want, so we're going to purchase one of those. We're going to need a couple, so we're just going to buy 3 right now. And then we'll talk about some of the other optional reagents afterwards. Those are going to be embellishments. And I don't think we're going to be putting them on our weapons at all.
The Tide Pearl, our fleets will be unstoppable.
In theory, we probably should be.
All who oppose us will fall.
Because we can't get the mythic level Capo's Molten Knuckles. That's what drops from Bugsy. We can get the heroic level ones, but we can't get the mythic level ones. Which means that our mythic weapon is going to be the best weapon that we can get. Our mythic crafted weapon when we get there. This dungeon's called Shrine of the Storm. It's a BFA dungeon that was not one of the most popular. This one you do have to kill at least 1 or 2 bosses, but oh, we don't have to go in there, little buddy. So I'm just taking a look at some of the other embellishments. We do like versatility as a stat, but the only reason that we like versatility as a stat is because the other stats aren't very good for us. So it looks like most of the other players are using, most of the high-end outlaw rogues are using just either the versatility or the ring embellishment. So I think what we will do is the same, just a match. So we're not going to put an embellishment on our weapon, but I will show you how to put an embellishment on our crafted gear. So so the first boss is actually on this platform here, and in order for him to pop up, you have to kill these little droplets. That'll trigger the Tide Sage's RP. And then he'll turn into the other boss.
This holy place with your presence. I call upon the surging waters.
So we bought our reagents, so we're going to stop tracking that recipe. Next thing we need is, before we even craft the weapon, we got to go and get that Enchanted Augment rune. So we're going to start off with that and keep going through the campaign. This boss, it doesn't really matter. It's a time-walking dungeon at this point, but if it ever does come back into the rotation, you summon him, he does a Surging Rush. At a certain percentage, he will break apart into 3 separate bosses, and then he puts a debuff on party members called Choking Brine. So now he breaks apart, and these guys have basically the same thing. They cast Sea Blast, and then at a certain point they also charge. They cast Choking Brine. So you just want to make sure that you don't get caught in multiple charges, yeah, there's Surging Rush. So sometimes they'll target like the same people or in the same direction, so you don't want to get hit by 2 charges. Looks like they do a little pushback as well. And then after you defeat all of them, they merge in. They do take away some of his health, so the third part of that's not too bad. And then you got to walk down here through this cave, come out the other side, walk down over here, and fight 2 more bosses. It's got pockets to pick. You sure do. You guys got pockets to pick? Ow. That was the button I wanted to push. One little nuance about Sorn, this little mini boss here, this lieutenant, is they'll put this ward on the ground, and players can stand in it and they'll receive a buff that reduces damage taken, but you got to move the mobs out of it. Now, if you are watching this series live with me, and the season 3 is about to start, if you are not interested in getting the highest level of IO that you can this season, or the highest level of Mythic Plus rating that you can this season, you don't really have to get too involved in gearing up your character. The Mythic 0 dungeons are going to award item level 681 gear starting in season 3, and the heroic dungeons are actually going to be awarding 668 gear from what I've understood. So pretty good gear. Okay, we're not going to skip, but that's okay. Despawned. So if you're, asking yourself what should I be doing this week, I would really just kind of like weigh those options. In my opinion, there really is no good substitute for practice. So if you're having fun playing the game and gearing up, sure, you might replace the gear pretty quickly, but practicing your rotation, practicing kicks and dungeons, getting used to your class's abilities, I think is pretty helpful. Getting used to knowing when to press defensive. So, you know, if you're having fun playing this weekend and you want to keep playing, by all means, just know that when a season turns over, usually means that the gear that you've accumulated, the gear grind kind of starts again. So the stuff that you've accumulated will eventually get outpaced. Like you can see with my guy, heroic dungeons are going to drop 668 level gear. I don't even have a piece that is that high item level yet. So if you are also in that same boat with your character, you don't have to worry. Oh man, you don't have to worry about getting a ton of gear. You can kind of just get as familiar with your class as you can and dig in next week with the start of season 3. But because we're going for 3KIO, we gotta still get some more gear. Because 638 isn't gonna cut it for us. Like to be 655 plus. Just a small tiny thing here too. You only have to pull one side of this room. If you're a tank in one of these dungeons, feel free to just hug one side and walk on through. We'll fight this boss, we'll go underwater, we'll fight the last boss, we'll leave this group.
It would seem you have guests, Lord Stormsong.
Intruders, I shall cast your bodies to the blackened depths, to be crushed for eternity. Make peace with your queen, for your life ends here. Your head will soon be mounted on my wall.
This boss will summon these little balls. I can't actually remember what they do. I'm pretty sure they all just hit that guy at once, which is kind of unfortunate, but he summons these little shadow void balls. They chase you around. You're supposed to kite them. And then on higher difficulties, he does some other abilities, but and then after he dies, this water up here stops being electrified and you hop down inside. That's not super clear for new players, but you hop on down inside and you start swimming.
The trail leads deeper into this foul-smelling passage. Keep your senses sharp. Some unseen force stalks us.
So if you're just tuning in, we picked up our 5 time walking quests for our heroic box, our 4 mythic dungeons for our heroic box. In between, we're going to be doing the campaign and getting our Enchanted Runed Crest for our hero weapon. Couple things that we could also be doing. We could go and kill the world boss again. We might do that, the Undermine world boss, while we're down there, just to see if we get lucky. Last time we got this champion plate chest piece. Obviously we can't wear plate. It's war bound though, so give it to a plate alt, but we don't have any. But there's a chance we could get lucky and get a piece of leather gear. Oh, they consumed our essence. We're going to go into the last boss. Come on, little buddy. This boss will send you into different phases with different people in your group. As you kill ads, your group will come together to kill the final ad. Our group is not doing a very good job. So we are killing different mobs, and we're not interrupting. When these forgotten past consume essence, they full heal. So what you want to normally do is kill one together and let one just keep casting, and then make sure you interrupt the other one. And then the tank and the healer will go into their own little special zone. I think for this one, we're just going to kind of dip out here. I'll take the 7-minute queue. We'll go work on some of the quests that we need to complete. So we talked about crafted gear. We purchased all of the items that are going to be required from the auction house. Cost us 5,000 gold to buy this for our weapon. We're going to try and do this economically. We're going to jump back into time walking queue. Keep that rolling. And then there is a new trading post. There's some new trading post items. This is our old stuff. They have some new stuff for sale every month. There's a pretty decent looking chess attire. There's also some sweatpants. I think we might actually pick this up just because we're gonna be not really using this account anymore, so we might as well spend it while we got it. And trading posts, we talked about this in a video a long time ago. Well, feels like a long time ago. Where you complete tasks in the game, dungeons, killing raid bosses, whatever it might be, throughout the month, and you accumulate traders tender, this piece of currency here, and you can spend it in the trading posts on cool things like mounts, full transmog attire like these sweatsuits, or these full armor sets, or mounts, like I mentioned, weapons that tend to match. And then they also have all sorts of stuff, these wrestling masks, skirts. And then you'll also see a selection of returning mounts and armor and appearances and pets and stuff like that down at the bottom. So every month there's something new that you can buy. You only get so much trader's tender that you can use per month. So You want to use it a little bit sparingly. You can save one item. You can freeze one item. So you can keep that. And I kind of like that chest set, so I'm gonna drop it in there. It came with some one-handed axes. I don't know how I feel about the helmet. Fuck it, why not? No, I hate the helmet. I don't like the helmet on my undead guy. So we're gonna do that. Chest rogue. And I also picked up a mount. I'm gonna start using that mount. Picked up two actually. We got one from completing the delvers, or sorry, the trading posts from last month. So if you hit Shift J on your keyboard, it'll open up this traveler's log, this adventure guide, and if you can get points from doing all these different activities. I usually just do it from playing the game through quests or through dungeons or raid bosses. As you get points, you unlock tender. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 tender. And then at the very end, you'll get whatever this reward is, which is just a purple variation of this mount that we just picked up here. This mount's super cool. It has some nice effects to it. Glows when you move. So we will use that. So we're queued up for our next dungeon, and we're just going to go back down to the Undermine and work on some of these quests while we wait for that queue to pop. We'll go back and forth. When we're done, we'll kill the final boss of Liberation of Undermine, and then we will craft a weapon. I'm going the other way because I need to repair my gear. Somebody here repairs, I'm sure. Quartermaster? No.
Won't find better.
Detailing and repairs.
How you doing, pal? See you around.
300 gold. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. So we're heading into the Slam Central Station.
Welcome to the best place.
And, you know, we're getting, when we first started, once we hit level 80, we were really getting a whole bunch of gear from this Liberation of Undermine campaign. That's going to be the same thing when we start going into season 3. So my plan is next week, right when the season starts, is to just boost up a character and get him to level 80 and start this whole thing over again. So that if a new player was starting in season 3, that's what they can kind of follow those videos and go through and gear up. I'll release a separate video that talks about like what the best way to gear up during the first month of the patch is. But that will be more of like a high-level instruction guide. But the reason that I mentioned that is we got a lot of catch-up gear from the Liberation of Undermine quests that allowed us to get into LFR and normal and heroic dungeons. And so when season 3 starts, there's going to be a new zone. There's going to be a new campaign, and there's going to be new catch-up gear. So if you are starting out and you're looking to get some gear, just doing that same thing that we did right here in season 3 will be a great way to get some gear. So you can go in, do the campaign, get some higher eye level, probably around like 615, 630 or so, just straight from the campaign in the new zone. Just like we did in Liberation of Undermine. And that will allow you to queue into heroic dungeons and get that 668 gear, which will then allow you to queue into mythic dungeons, mythic zeros, which will award you 681 gear. All right, what do we need here? We need birds. And we just need to kill Dark Fuse and grapple birds. Two more birds. One more birds.
Looks like these are alarm bots, but they only signal a guard if one's close by.
Keep it real.
What now? Hodgemite? Black blood? There's gotta be a connection here.
It's funny that we're doing BFA time walking right at this point in the quest chain, because this through the goblin tunnelers, we came over to Zuldazar Zandalar and Zuldazar in Zandalar, which is a zone from the Battle for Azeroth for the Horde. And this all ties in. All of this was happening back when that expansion came out. And they're tying it in. Talking about how the goblins love to uncover things that they probably shouldn't. Black blood, Kajamite. Destroy the stockpiles. Read the note on the pay stub.
Your vacation request is denied. Also, you're fired for asking. Leave your uniform out.
All right, objective complete. Destroyed. Read the note. Return to Gazlo. I did see back here a little platform. It said emergency exit, so we're gonna click it and hope that it takes us out of the cave. It did. Cool.
Time is money, friend.
You got a problem? I got solutions. Bilgewater is on the job. Well, we ain't done yet. This Boyd is gonna let us see what they're up to. Give it a kick to start it up. I do my best.
A little vehicle
Grab the
quest.
remote and I'll walk you through the controls. One small issue. If the Boyd gets too low on juice, it'll probably blow up.
I haven't had a day off in forever. What's the rush on Kajamite all of a sudden?
We need way more black blood than this. If we was paying you, this would be coming out of your checks. Let's see if you at least brought the good stuff. Stay here.
Oh, gotta keep that sensor up, pal.
Begin the weapon test.
It worked. The Kajamite contains and stabilizes the black blood.
So we can tell Gallywitz. This'll fix the Dark Heart.
Yep, and all of his improved weapons designs too.
Great news. Hey, boys! No witnesses.
Wait, no!
We get things done. Nice. That's why he needed so much.
I'll send you back to Undermine in an ashtray. The warehouse. The hostages. He already knows.
All right. So one thing that I am thinking about now is efficient ways to use our crests. And because it's the end of the season and we have this currency that allows us to buy hero gear, hero weapons and trinkets, I might want to pick up a hero weapon. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going back to the Vat Works. Talk to Marin
Don't assume
and
that
Illyria.
we were ambushed by ethereals. Zalatath's minions, no doubt. Hopefully that resonance will give us an idea of who's behind this attack.
We gotta close the portals, kill the ethereals.
On my trail, are you?
I don't know what we're in combat with here.
To be diligent.
Everything.
That sounds like another Shadow Guard ethereal. A minion of the Void. work for them.
The Dark Heart will be ours. You would be wise to forfeit your little pursuit.
We must
You're
tell
starting to
Cat
see
they
some
do not
involvement
know
here
who
with
they're dealing
Void.
with.
I mean, they've been present every time Illyria's been part of the quest line, but this is going to
Why
be
they
the
attack
main
you, Marin?
theme throughout the
What
next
needs fixing?
season 3 and the next patch.
You
Is
couldn't
going to be
hold
these
us.
ethereal. I don't want to call them monsters, but NPCs.
I couldn't talk.
But you just did. We'll be retrieving the Dark Heart now. My apologies.
We get things done. Get out there and get to it. Do us proud.
Keep on keeping on.
I'll hunt down that ethereal and keep him away from them.
Alright, there's our dungeon queue.
We'll get the hostages safe and find the Dark Heart. Renzik, champ, you're with me.
The only thing, I think thematically, that the Undermine is really, really cool. The only thing that I don't like about the car isn't so much the controls, which I'm just not super great at. It's the fact that in order to know where I want to go, I have to keep toggling my map open. And there's an add-on that you can get that'll make your map transparent when you're moving. You can see mine kind of did right there. It's just a little tough to toggle back and forth with. Was this the guy that was in our first dungeon? Or second dungeon?
It appears we have uninvited guests.
Yep, sure is.
No matter. I'm
Well.
certain we can accommodate them.
This is Waycrest Manor. This dungeon did come back in a season,
Ensure our visitors are made
a Mythic Plus season, and you have to kill all of the guys here in the front. Only one door will be open when you first start, so it's this one down here, this bottom left, or bottom right. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Only one door will be open. That'll set the direction that you need to go in. And you can see on the map here, so it's a very Luigi's Mansion style haunted house. You start here in the foyer, and you'll either be able to go right or you'll go left. If you go left, it's towards a 3-boss trio called the Heartsbane Triad. You can only deal damage to one of them at a time. If you go to the right, you'll usually start with Raw the Gluttonous, and then you'll work your way around, and you'll usually kill the Soulbound Goliath in the middle. So you'll go we'll go Ral, Soulbound Goliath, Heartbane Triad, then you go down into the basement. You'll find any one of these cellars, and in the basement you'll fight 2 other bosses. Another big one, another BFA dungeon, and good thematic. There's a lot of parts of this dungeon that people don't like. Like, you can pull things through walls, particularly in this area. I mean, you can see how dense it is with all these like nameplates in the hallway and stuff like that. So people typically don't like it very much in that regard, in like the high-end Mythic Plus community, but I love the vibe of it, like the whole haunted house kind of thing. And I think at this point we'll probably stop explaining boss fights for timewalking dungeons, because they're going to rotate so frequently, and also if you die on one, it's really not that big of a deal. So you clear out his room, you fight Grawl. Head out one of the doors. Go out into the courtyard.
Considered polite to murder your hostess's servants? On second thought, don't answer that. I can tell by your dull expressions that in your corner of the world, the concept of a home not made of dung is likely new and exciting. Continue to meddle in my affairs, and your deaths will be long and abhorrent.
Back through the courtyard. Oop, I ran into the fire. We'll go kill the sisters, and then we'll go down in this cellar door here. There are some ghosts in this hallway that will just kind of sneak up on you. There they are. We got a level. Level up, level up, level up. Normally you want to clear the sides of the room. Normally you don't want to step in that.
You have no power here.
I'm not sure. I think it's big wigs or little wigs that will mark which witch to kill. Essentially, when they'll pass this magical item in between the two of them or the three of them, and only one can take damage at a time. You do want to. I'm doing a really bad job of it right now. You do want to kick these in normally in your Mythic Plus dungeons or the Mythic Plus difficulty, because it hurts, but it doesn't really do much in time walking. Clearly, go down in the basement.
Oh dear, it seems you have slaughtered my entire household.
The carnage is Why not join me in the basement and marvel at death's beauty?
There's a lieutenant down here, Matron Alma.
Power is ancient.
She kind of pats back and forth.
I was promised.
Go downstairs. You can pull the boss. The boss is over here. You can pull the boss without pulling the entire room, but normally you want to kind of clear off this little platform area to work with before engaging them. These mobs will drop these little candles on the ground. They're actually really hard to see, but they do reduce the amount of damage that the mobs will take.
I will never let him go. Our bond can never be broken. Our bond can never be broken.
I did say I was going to stop talking about boss mechanics in timewalking dungeons, but this boss, you have to kill the Frankenstein guy a couple times before she comes down. She sacrifices her health to heal him back up, and then eventually she'll come down.
Mortals, you lack foresight. Death cannot be stopped. By destroying Lady Warcraft, you have opened the doorway to your world. Now, your nightmare is just beginning.
Last boss of the dungeon here.
We're too late. Wait.
Death consumes all!
Quickly, burn it. Quickly, burn it.
And we're done. Done with this one. We're at 3 out of 5 time walking. Honestly, I should probably stick with that group. It's better than waiting for the queue, but I do want to get this dungeon or this campaign completed. So we're going to pop back out, join the queue, talk to Gazlo,
Nice chat.
save some hostages.
Like to hide. They might be watching the place.
Hey, help me, please.
One hostage rescued.
What were all those bandage monsters? Where's Marin?
He's waiting for you back at Bilgewater headquarters. The way's clear.
Oh. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing any up top, but it does look like I am. head over to the
I'm
next
up
building
here.
here.
Get me loose from these chains. Scurvy dog-fused dogs. I'd kill them myself if they weren't already dead.
Is someone out there?
One more hostage.
Hobart, you're Bilgewater. Why did Gallywix grab you?
Because I'm a genius. That's why he wasted my time making these weapons for him. Meanwhile, he ran off to his little cave over there to work on the Dark Heart.
You're talking to the goblin in charge. Get out there and get to it. You want to do us the honors, champ? Let's go.
Security, deal with these idiots. You're too late, Gazlo, buddy. You'll never beat me to a good deal.
Gallywix!
Oh, I was just about to send that on to Zalatan. Repair work's all finished. Not holding out or nothing. I swear.
Whatever Zalatath promised you, Gallywix, it ain't worth it.
Get it right. I'll remember this. This is my town. And when I come back, I'm gonna bury you under it.
Damn it! I only lost track of the ethereal for a moment, and that was enough.
Plugging along. We're almost at the end, I promise. Brakes.
You got a problem? I got solution. Yep, we're done. I'm tired. We got... All right, pack it up. We're getting everyone topside. Now. We freed the hostages. There's no reason to stay. Undermine ain't worth it, Renzik. We left to find something better.
catch you on the flip side, Gazzy.
Forensic! Oh, no. No.
Kill them all. Triple hazard pay for whoever brings me Gaslow's head.
Oh boy. Yo, what the hell? I said Gaslow's head, not mine. Gotta assassinate the assassins.
What was that? Are you hurt?
It's Renzik. He's dead. Bilgewater on duty. What's the holdup? I'm done waiting for this city to change.
I've let Gallywix have his way with
I'm no trade princess like the rest of you.
There'll be war in the streets. But if we're all in this together, it just may be enough.
What now? Bilgewater is on the job.
Yes, I would like to kick off a revolution.
Gallywix is done. Split up. Tell your people that we're taking back this city.
You heard the man. Let's move.
Ain't you a sight for sore eyes? Gaslow sending in the big guns means it's about to get serious. Keep your head down. I'm on it. Now that's a headline. Share these old pamphlets. I'll get to work on the new and improved variety.
Oh boy. These dungeons are long for the BFA time walking.
Welcome to the
This is
tomb
King's
of the
Rest.
first Troll King. Wish I could
There's
be
a
there to
really
read
cool
the
mount
lesson.
off of the last boss in here. I really should have grounded out during the
Binding the ancient secrets to the will of my master.
during the collector's bounty event. It's so cool. Mummified raptor. I don't think it drops in time walking. Yeah, it only drops in mythic difficulty. Although some stuff does drop in time walking. Maybe it will. This will be 4 out of 5, so we'll have one more dungeon to do. We should be getting really close to being done with our campaign quests.
This temple is under Gahoon's power.
Got feared.
against the Zandalari.
Whoa.
Thousands of years ago, a blood contagion almost wiped out the Zandalari. As the dead choked their temples, golems were constructed to dispose of the diseased bodies. I'm sure it will have no problem disposing of you.
Oh. When did I do that? Oops. One 95627. Strawberry. That kind of makes that pointless. It's funny. This precision, auto attack damage. Wait, that's acrobatic sprites. Critical strike chance of between the eyes increased by 60%. Plus crit.
The dead must be preserved. This temple is under Gahun's power.
True Bearing. Finishing removes, reduce the cooldown many of your abilities by additional 0.5 seconds. So CDR. I'm gonna try and put together a little weak aura. Ooh. This guy died. I'm polymorphed. Oh. Some combo point. Plus crit. And melee. One of the worst parts about King's Rest Dungeon is just how much ground you have to cover. I mean, we started this dungeon all the way back here. We came down stairways with no trash, did this trash, first boss room, all the way down here, second boss room, all the way down here. Eventually you get a checkpoint that unlocks in dungeon flight path, so when you come down the stairway, you'll be able to get a bird that'll fly you across the different platforms, but boy howdy. Skull and crossbones.
There is no antidote to this poison. Oh, please, bury me far from these imbeciles.
You're as worthless in death as you was in life. I'm gonna here comes the pain. Blood and bone.
There is no antidote to this poison. God,
My rage be undying.
This fight requires skill. Something you are missing. Time to get
It's so oddly quiet in my house right now. My fiance and our dog went down to Cape Cod. It's the first time the dog hasn't been in the house with me in a very long time.
my head will make a fine trophy.
Skip ahead.
silence, prophet of lies. I spent my life resisting your master.
Alright, head to the last boss here. I'm praying that our last BFA dungeon is a short one.
While I make it so. Complain all you like, my king, but you should have realized there was no escaping Gahoon. temple!
5 through 1.
None can withstand my blade! Time to bleed!
Push that button in the wrong order.
You have earned the honor of dying by my work. Time to bleed.
It's chaotic. There are lots of chaotic things happening here.
None can withstand my blade. Time to bleed. You have broken Zul's hold. I serve that swine no longer. You have freed me from a cruel fate, but Zul is merely a puppet in a larger plan. Even now, his master gathers power. Zul will not rest until all the world is in the Blood God's grip.
Oh, hey. Trying to make a couple changes to the UI just to learn more about the class. So I'm importing the Luxthos WeakAura that we were using before. I just want to steal part of it. So I'm trying to see what part I need. All right, so we have dynamic effects. It's kind of laggy. Right, was this the WeakAura? Maybe it wasn't this WeakAura. Ah, yeah, I see them down here. Combo point. Sinister Strike. Crit.
Need some help?
So this is the part we want here. Maintenance, resources, health bar, shadow techniques, roll the bones. So what we're going to do is we're going to nab this. We're going to just... WeakAuras are sweet because you can just drag them around and drop them. So we're going to move this one into our WeakAura package. Delete the Luxthos one. And make a quick change. Interesting. Let's see. Is it part of anything? So we'll just take the group. We'll drop it down a little bit. Bring it back up one. Say minus 55. This 50. Cool. Let's see here. Nice. We might actually make one more change here. I like the idea. Just having it a little bit higher. So that we can just learn a little bit more about those Roll the Bones buffs that we're getting. So we made that change. I'll hop back into the time walking queue. Might make some further changes to that one to help us a little bit more.
Hey, pal. In here. Gaslow's looking for you.
Not gonna lie, he kind of scared me a little bit. Little jump scare from the voice line. Oh, I thought I was stealthed. Looks like I can complete this action while stealth, so that's good. Make it a little tiny bit faster. Skip over to the scary guy.
Hey, pal. In here.
Knock
Gaslow's
twice.
looking for you.
Oh, we got our Valor Stone cap. I'm gonna go and create another Spark of Fortune. So that'll use up 250 Valor Stones every time we combine two fractured pieces, so that we get more Valor Stones here. As part of this quest line, we'll be wasting those.
How's Renzik doing?
You want me dead, is that it? Then come on, take your shot! I'm right here!
Aw, what's the hurry? Can't you see how much fun I'm having?
Renzik was 100 times
about it. We have the black blood. You're outgunned. Was that my last one? Oh well, time to restock. Till you next time.
She's right about one thing. We gotta deal with their black blood, or it won't matter how many people rise up. I'll handle things here. Go find Noggin Fogger and Revel Gaz at the waterfront. So, what's on deck?
Shark's use will pay. I'll serve your eviction notice personally, Captain.
We get the limes.
Don't get yourself killed! That's an order!
Got any good cargo? What brings ya? Smooth sailing.
This quest is annoying. I've decided. This quest was annoying the first time I did it, and the quest is annoying now. Unless no pockets to pick. This work outfit must not have pockets on it. Oh, Quirky Mage is back. Good luck, Quirky Mage. Good luck getting your limes. All right. Turn this one in. Still waiting for our final Q pop here.
One of those scurvy dogs got me good. As you seeing my captain making things right. And damn the plunder Gallywix offers him. It's got me fired up. Ugh. Oh, what kind of brew was that? Ha ha! Now that's more like it. Come get me horns now, ye scallywags.
Okay.
Steady as she goes. Carry on. As you were. Dark Fuse has been using us to bring in these shipments. It ends now. This Boss Gallywig's black blood will be relieving you of your cargo now. We're supposed to... handle, matey. Ahoy! Carry on. Steady as she goes.
All right. Last BFA dungeon. Let's just see where this is going to bring us.
People of Undermine, return to your homes. There is no revolution.
Just going to wait until the end of this queue to pop in there because this little guy is bringing us closer to the Continental Hotel. Decided I'm finally going to watch John Wick this weekend since my partner's going to be out of the house. Those movies aren't really kind of her thing, I don't think. Although she does love dogs. Temple of Sethraliss. Still a bit of a long dungeon, but not the longest. No skippable bosses. Oh. so he uses combo, damage, CMB, combo, damage. I think what we're gonna try and do is mimic the Luxos Wikora, but more in our own traditional Wikora style. But I like how it tells you what the buff is, combo, damage. I don't like that it shows me all the ones that I'm missing. I think it could be a little bit more synthesized in terms of the information there. So use ERG as energy regeneration. And that is buried treasure. ERG. Oh, we hit. Nice. On to the next one. Pardon me. Every so often in World of Warcraft, a boss will have an ability, and you'll usually see like a beam come out from somewhere. And half of the time, you want to stand in the beam, half the time you don't. And usually the beam does something bad to the person standing in it. Like I was taking 2 beams there, I probably shouldn't have been. Like it's doing damage to me. I can hit Cloak of Shadows and it won't affect me anymore. But typically, if you see a beam heading towards a boss, it usually means that it'll power the boss up. You might need to intervene and step in there.
The eyes of and place them back into their sockets so we can pass.
And the reason that we want to see these roll the bones buffs and know what each one of them does is because it doesn't do us justice just by saying good or bad or reroll. It's important to know that when we have this crit buff, that our between the eyes critical strike increase, or critical strike chances increase. Or it's important to know that when this button is activated, our Sinister Strike, or this buff, our Sinister Strike, and our Pistol Shot will be generating more combo points. Or it's important to know when we have this buff, True Bearing, we get additional cooldown reduction for spending combo points so we can cycle through our abilities faster. All right, we're headed to the last boss. They don't really do this anymore. They haven't really done this on any boss since Battle for Azeroth, but this is a unique boss that actually requires healing instead of damage. There will be things for us to fight here. Little mobs, not necessarily one big boss. And it's really on the healer to heal this Avatar of Sethralus up. So we're going to start by killing these little hexers. And then we'll go to the boss fight. And I guess I shouldn't say that. There was a boss in the last expansion that required you to heal. So they do it every now and then, but they're not the most enjoyable boss fights for most folks. WoW players like to be bloodthirsty. So as a DPS on this fight, at least, you know, we're really just working to kill the hexers, and then they'll drop a little orb that we can click on. And the phase starts over again. Poor little Chuck. He's trying as hard as he can. He's healing. Leave him be, Hakashev. And then once he's fully healed, at least in this case, he'll give us a buff. We'll kill the stuff one more time. And then we'll get a chest. Hey, that was the first time we did that dungeon.
Broken, and I am myself again. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna leave the group. And
Undermine is
back
drenched in
here.
black weapons. What's our solution here? That's what it is.
It has arrived. Well-timed, friend.
Ooh, I wonder what
So we're
this
still
one will
rioting in
do.
the Undermine. So before we go back up and turn in that quest, we're just gonna try and get to a point where we can stop here. I'd love to kill that boss. I'd love to kill the world boss before we leave the Undermine. I'd love to get to the end of the quest too, so I'm trying to make that the focus. We'll just turbo through it as quick as we can here. So we need to kill the lieutenants. And then just wreck stuff up. Nope.
Revolution? Ha! You can't change the way things are.
New boss, same as the old boss.
Try to die with Darius.
You know, if you're just starting to get into World of Warcraft, you've been watching these videos at all, you might think there's a lot of guns. And there's not a lot of guns. I just have a gun, and goblins have guns.
Nothing burns hotter than this stuff.
They're not stopping. Get back here. Now! Defend me!
You're spoiling my fun, Jaster.
Looks like the riot is being successful so far.
Your path leads you deep, stranger.
Venture can't change for the better while Nikki's still around.
The world watch over you.
Take down the boss.
I worked on her executive package defense matrix. It's almost unbeatable. Almost.
Stockpiles destroyed. What do I need? I didn't mean to kill that guy. All right, we got 4 reactive plating. One core.
Let this be finished. Feel the fury of the ancient roots.
Oh my god, there's taskmasters everywhere. Yeesh.
We do things different. Stay sharp out there.
Off you go, then.
I got you back.
I told you to use the manifold.
That takes care of Gallywix's black blood stockpile. Now for
All
those
right.
enforcers. Let's find Gazlo and...
I hope you don't mind. I brought a few friends. Now, let's finish this. What now?
We heard Nikki's executive package was giving
we're
you
so
trouble,
close.
Gazlo. I got something for you.
Never worked with parts like these before. You'll put...
Nothing that Bilgewater's finest can't handle.
I don't think that people give Blizzard's quests and stories enough credit. I mean, sure, there's games out there that have more emotional complexity, better writing, more drama. But I feel like this quest line has been pretty decent. You know, we start by encouraging someone who left the Undermine to go home. He finds out all these things are going wrong with his friends and his people. He loses a friend, which inspires him to start a rebellion. And then we go and tear down a statue. Start a riot. You don't do that in a lot of video games, and You know?
Bring it down!
It's not super serious. Yeah, that could have killed somebody. All right. So just in time for the start of season 3, you now understand what happened in season 2.
We get things done. Yep, looks like we've got work to do.
Severance package. Cool gun. Defeat Nikki.
Lonely at the
You invite all these people just to watch you die, Gaslow?
Oh, I've got something for him to watch, all right.
Get rid of them.
Ready?
You got a problem?
I got your back.
My executive package! I'll do you like I did to pal Renzik!
Is that where you want me to stand? Okay, that just killed me. Maybe over here, probably over there. That was dumb. Get behind cover, it says. Oh shit. Let's try that again. Get behind cover.
What am I paying you for? Finish them, Nikki.
This ain't just business. It'll be a pleasure killing you. But I was having fun.
It seems your time has run out, Gallywix.
Saladath, you got here just in time. There.
Where is the Dark Heart?
What? What do you mean? I handed it over to your ethereal pal.
You gave it to the Ethereals?
He wasn't working for you? I didn't know. I swear. Hey, we can still fix this. Just help me stomp this rebellion.
You have outlived your usefulness. But I will enjoy watching them tear you apart.
I don't need you. I don't need anyone. You hear me? Each and every one of you upstarts is gonna pay in blood.
Bilgewater on duty. Do what's
Return to the hotel, talk to Gaslow. This is gonna be it. This is the last one.
what needs fixing. All parts accounted for. The cartels are always
House loses. So, at the end of the campaign, you got this quest to go in and kill Chrome King Gallywix, and you will receive an Enchanted Runed Undermine Crest. Crafting with this item will make the item level of the piece of gear between 645 and 658, 658 at max quality. We also get some more reputation and a pouch with some Valor Stones in it. This is exactly what we had been looking for this whole time. There will be a quest chain like this in the new zone. However, it will be broken apart a little bit, so you won't be able to just go right in, get this quest. It'll be time gated a little bit, so it might take a week or two until we end up seeing that. We're going to see how quickly a group forms up for this world boss. So he does have a chance to drop some loot that I believe we can use. Champion track chest piece. We already have one of those. Belt we don't need. We already have a champ track neck, which has better stats. All right, never mind. We're gonna leave this. We don't need to kill him. Probably be Wooey gear anyways. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna join Raid Finder for the Chrome King. And we'll go back upstairs to turn in our weekly time walking quest.
I understand your frustration, Gaora, but do not rush to conclusions.
All right, you're just hoping for something good. Another hero trinket. Oh man, we got one of these last time. Oh well, it's probably a little bit better, maybe, than the radio. Gives you flat haste, no main stat. Oh, we got right in there. Go grab a simple raid build from Archon. It's not going to be very good. It's not going to be super optimized. But it will be a single target or semi-single target raid build. See here, it changes a fair few talents. Now the added little bonus of this, although it's really not that important, is that there is a chance that we could get a excessively bejeweled curio here, which will allow us to turn it in for any veteran track tier piece. At this point in the season, it's not super critical. We're not trying to save our or make efficient use of our catalyst charges. All right, Pompeii, calm down a little bit, buddy. Boston procs. Don't have one yet. Don't need timer text.
Time to
Nope. Looks like we're gone. And there's a couple different ways. Like I mentioned, that you can go ahead and get this quest completed. Usually by the time it comes out during a patch, there's story mode. Story mode is just a way for everybody to be able to experience the thematic and final end boss of the raid tier. It's just like a follower dungeon. Lets you go in with NPCs, fight Gallywix in a very abridged version. No real threat. And you can complete the quest that way. We're just doing it on LFR because we'd love to get just another tier piece. That would be nice. But who knows? You could get some loot from LFR that could be useful. Oops. Oh. Oops. Greed. What Jaster Diamond? I'd love to just win one of these. That'd be cool. 78. Nope, not today. That's all right. We got a quest done. That's what we really cared about. Let's see, are these healers resurrecting? No. Wham, wham. Player buff, spell ID. We can dip out of here.
I understand your frustration, Gaora, but do not rush to conclusions.
And I just want to move the buff proc group up a little bit so that we see it. So this weak aura that we just made is just going to track our Between the Eyes buff when we have it. It's a little small. Let's try 32 maybe. All right, 35 it is. We're going to grow centered horizontal. Of course, that changes what it looks like. Drop it down one to 90. And so basically what we're doing here with these weak auras is we're recreating the buffs that Luxthos has in his pack. I'll show you an example of what that looks like. So what we did is we used our ID tip add-on to get the spell IDs up here in the top right of the buffs as we were going through that dungeon. So, or as we were going through, the dungeon. So now when we hit Between the Eyes, we're tracking one of those buffs. So we know that our Between the Eyes 20% increased critical strike chance buff has 5 seconds left. And now it's gone. So we know that we want to get that up pronto. And then what we're also going to do is create weak auras that will show us when we have Ruthless Precision. We'll delete the Luxos part. And we grab the spell ID here. And we're going to change this to just say crit. Script buff. And we're going to duplicate that. Call it Grand Melee. Change trigger. Say damage. So basically just taking the same thing that Luxos had. Duplicate. Buried treasure. Energy. Duplicate. Skull and crossbones. This one is Sinister Strike. So that is Broadside. So combo points. And True Bearing. True Bearing is... Ooh, that's not right. Oh boy. Okay. True Bearing is... We'll just try it with the name. I like to do the IDs because they make it much better, much more concrete. True Bearing is CDR. So it looks like a compass, so we're going to try and get it to roll for us. Oh, you got it. So it's True Bearing ID 193359. Now you can see here, when we have the 5 stack, it will show us all the different buffs that we're getting. And it's not the best, it's not the most readable, but I think it'll look a little bit better when it drops off here. So now you can see, okay, we just have crit as our biggest one. This could tell us to reroll soon. So now we just have damage plus CDR. We gotta get that. Keep that broadside buff up. Nice. Cool thing with the weak auras too is like we can add effects there. So we just kind of did a very brief intro to weak auras. You can grab buff IDs using the ID tip or LVUI add-on, depending on what you have, and you can create. So to create it from scratch, I would click New Aura Icon, and it would just drop an icon on my screen. There are multiple different configurations. It's overwhelming for new players. You do not need to use this. I talked at the very beginning about weak aura packs, but if you ever did want to track something specific like a cooldown or a buff, so like these were easy. They were buffs on us, and that's the default for icon. So under trigger for this big random one, trigger 1 aura player buff. And then there's the ways that you can differentiate what the buff is. I use exact spell ID and I grab that. So, you know, thinking about Funky's clickable one, it goes through and asks, is this character a rogue? If yes, does this character have the buff for an offhand poison and a main hand poison? And if it's no, it pops up on our screen. Or does this person have access to Hellstones but only has, you know, 1 Hellstone? Is there a Warlock in the group and they don't have Hellstones? Here you go. Go click your Hellstones. And there's multiple triggers too. So like you can do player aura, you can do targets with buffs or debuffs to track your own stuff on there. You can do item cooldowns, spell info, like spell cooldowns, player unit info, like if my health goes below 30%, maybe I want to flash a Healthstone icon or something like that. Or if the boss reaches 100 energy, maybe I want to play an air horn. Whatever it might be, there's a bunch of different triggers. You can also layer these triggers, so it can be if multiple things are active, true or false, you can add those into. And then on the display side of things, this is where you just set all of the different, I'm going to minimize everything so it's a little more compact. You set all of the different, what you want to see. So the first thing is the icon. By default, it will choose an icon that is associated with the spell or the debuff. So just by setting the trigger to be broadside, the automatic icon that it chooses is the icon from broadside. You can overwrite that if you want to. You can do a manual icon where you can pick from specific triggers. Swipe overlay, this is more for like cooldowns and stuff like that. You saw I clicked hide timer text because it'll put its own timer on there. There's extra options for like alpha and fade out. And then position and size are going to be the size of the icon, so you can see width. We had it 35, and then positioning is going to be where it is. Now, this is a dynamic group that I created, so there's different positioning wise. There's nothing I really needed to do there. I just needed to put the group where I wanted the group to be. And then you can track different things on here. So like I have the buff effects labeled here so that I know, okay, this is crit, this is damage, this is energy regeneration, the sinister strike deals more, and then broadside. Oh, true bearing, I need to put the ID in instead of just the name. Cool. Cooldown reduction, but you can also keep things in here, like there's a list of dynamic smart tags that you can use. So %P is progress, so how long on the buff. %T is total, maximum duration on a timer, the name, the icon, the number of stacks, custom. And then you can associate these with each trigger. So if you have multiple triggers, you could have it display the cooldown of an ability or the buff time, depending on what you wanted to see in there. And then you can also add different effects to, like glows around the outside if you want to draw attention to it. Or, another thing that I might want to do would be to take a look at the conditions. So say I wanted to, see when this was wearing off. So like I have glow here. So what I could do is I could create a condition that basically there are a bunch of if then statements. So if the aura has a remaining duration, of less than 2, then I can turn on the glow. So that'll tell me, okay, my buff is about to run out. I need to re-up that buff by just drawing some attention to it. Or you can do all sorts of things. Like, for example, when these start to fade out, I might desaturate them, or I might make their alpha change a little bit. So primarily when it comes to weak auras, if you want to mess around a little bit, display, trigger, and conditions will be the main areas that you're in. Actions, animations, you don't really need. Custom options, you definitely don't need. Information, you don't need at all. And then the last section is load. By default, it's just set to nothing, which is fine for these buffs because they're only going to pop up when I have the buff. But you can also set this weak aura to only load when you're on a rogue or when you're in combat or, whatever it might be. I have all of my button weak auras set to not skywriting. So you'll see when I'm on the ground, here they are, but the load changes when I'm in a skywriting mount, they disappear. So some cool stuff there. I'm gonna go turn in this quest, I think. And then I'm thinking about turbo boost. I don't have any other cartel chips, I don't think, which would mean that in order to buy a weapon, I would need to kill 12 bosses to get 3 cartel chips. I think I'm going to be using the cartel chips on potentially another trinket. So I think we're just going to go ahead and craft our weapon. So we'll get that done, and that's where we'll end the video today. So we are almost at that 3-hour mark, which is crazy. Okay, we got to turn it in down here. So I'll show you how to get something crafted, because this will definitely be useful when we start the next season. Although crafting, everything that you've seen here kind of had on demand. So like things like crafting or catalyst charges, as soon as the season restarts, things are going to change a little bit. So when the season starts, you'll get one catalyst charge, I think, when the raid opens, and then you'll get another catalyst charge 2 weeks after that. And then in alternating weeks, you'll get, each week, I guess, you'll get a half spark, which you can then combine with 250 Valor Stones to make a full Spark of Fortunes. So 1 week you'll get a catalyst charge, the next week you'll get a crafted item. So there are particular ways that are recommended for new players. Well, not for new players, for anybody looking to get like the most value out of the first couple of weeks. I'm going to put a video on the channel that talks about that pretty soon. It'll be up before season 3 starts, so you know how to spend your resources, because your resources will become pretty valuable. So let's talk briefly about what happens when a season changes over. So when a season changes, a bunch of things really happen. There's a bit of a reset. You get to keep your Valor Stones. Those will roll over. That's new with this patch. You'll get to keep any Valor Stones that you have, which you can use to upgrade gear. Your crests, your Weathered Undermine, Carved Undermine, Runed Undermine, Gilded Undermine, those will essentially go away. They'll likely be turned into gold. And these are the season 2. You can see Undermine, Undermine, Undermine. When we go into season 3, you'll be able to accumulate new crests. At this point in the season, because it was so late, there are no caps on these. You can just collect as many as you want. But in the beginning of a season, every week you're going to have a cap on the amount of gilded crests and rune crests and carved crests that you're going to be able to acquire, and even weathered crests, but they don't really matter too much. So the crests are going to reset. Your Valor Stones are going to stay. Your Undercoin is going to reset, so you can spend any of your Undercoin. That's what you got from doing delves. Your coffer keys are going to reset. Stuff like transmog stuff, your Kedge, resonance crystals, those don't matter. So anything under this season 2 banner here is really what's going to be impacted, with the exception of Valor Stones. We're going to go back into that bi-weekly cadence of crafted item, catalyst charge. There's going to be a new raid. The new raid is going to have new bosses. It's going to come out a week after the patch. So the patch comes out on August 5th. The raid comes out on, I think it's the 11th. And with that raid comes new tier sets. Those tier sets are going to change the way that your character plays. The new patch is also going to come with a new zone and new dungeons, a new dungeon pool for season 3. That dungeon pool will be available on the 5th with Mythic 0 dungeons. They can be completed once a week. And heroic dungeons. Heroic dungeons are 668 item level. Mythic 0 dungeons, I believe, are 681. So big upgrades for a new player, just doing a full, they call them world tour of Mythic 0 dungeons. You might want to get some of that 668 gear from heroics first. Anything that you do to kind of gear up, like getting your current tier set from season 2, will definitely help. Your belt max item level, max upgrade there will be good. But you can get some pretty good upgrades just from doing that. And your Mythic Plus score is going to reset. So season 2 will be over. You'll reset back down. If you do use the Raider IO add-on and you have a Raider IO account, your main character will carry over in their score. So a little blurb will say down at the bottom, last season score or highest score. So that can be a little bit useful in week 1 if somebody sees like 3K Mythic Plus rating. It can help you get into groups a little bit easier. So what you want to do is you want to spend all of the currencies that are going to go away within reason. I mean, you're going to get 668 gear and 681 gear from the dungeon, so I wouldn't go and spend a ton of time making a bunch of crafted gear if you don't have a lot of gold. But if you have gold to burn, feel free to send it. Spend your undercoin. You can get transmog. You can get additions to your mount. You can get all sorts of stuff there. So, but we finished our quest. We got our Enchanted Runed Undermine Crest. So we're going to go over to crafting orders. And let's talk about crafting real quick. So we want to get the one-handed agility mace crafted. So we want to make sure it's current expansion. We want to make sure it's for us. And we want to double check the stats. If you craft something with the wrong stats, this is really important at the start of the season. If you craft something that is like, for example, an intellect only. So if we went to one-handed axes, there's the charged rune axe that says 7,000 intellect, and then there's the charged slicer, which says 1,200 agility. You want to make sure that it has your main stat on it, because if you craft the charged rune axe, you won't get a refund for your crafted materials, and you will lose out on your spark. So very, very important in the first portion of the season. So what we want to do is look in trade chat. So I talked about crafting orders a little bit earlier. You can put in a public order, but there's no guarantee that crafter will craft this at the max potential rank. We're doing everything we can to help. We bought all rank 3 materials. So you can see the little 3 diamonds around that indicate a rank 3 material. So we bought rank 3 Storm Touch Weapon Wrap alloy, an Ironclaw alloy. The null stones don't have a rank, they're just null stones. And then the Spark of Fortune doesn't have a rank. And then we're adding in our optional reagents down here. So we're adding in Elgari Missive of the Aurora. We're infusing it with the Enchanted Runed Crest. So what we want to do, and then this is for embellishments. We're not doing embellishments, and this is for turbo boost. We're not doing anything there. So we just want to say, want to buy 658 Everforged Mace. Or you could say looking for crafter. You'll usually get somebody very quickly that will message you. You can right click their name, copy it, and then I'm going to ask for max quality, and then I'm going to leave a tip. It's the end of the season, and I don't have a lot of money, so I'm going to give him 2,500 gold. He can craft this. Like, at this point in the season, don't have to really, wow, this is all they do. They just say send. He can craft this. He's going to get added value out of this. Like, I would recommend tipping a little bit. I would recommend finding guildies that can do this for you. At the start of the season, might be a little bit better to tip a little more. But at this point, everybody can craft everything. We'll talk about crafting next time. Everybody can craft everything, so they'll be able to do this without spending much of their own resources, and we provided a lot of the resources. They also have a crafting stat called resourcefulness. So there's a chance that when he crafted that, he actually saved materials, and he got a portion of those Ironclaw alloy or Everforged alloy back. So big upgrade here for us. Weapons are really important, so we're just going to drop this in. We're going to put it in the main hand slot because it's our highest item level. And then we've got our Nightfall Curseblade Cudgel in the offhand. This is one that we're just going to upgrade pretty continuously, and then we're going to upgrade this one again to a mythic weapon. So I'm going to see what I have. I know I'm going to be spending my carved crests on that, so I just want to see how far I could get. So this is 30 carved and 30 runed would get this up to 652, which would put our weapons in a pretty good spot. We could save a little bit if we waited until we got another heroic weapon from like our box or from dungeons or something like that. We could save a couple of these crests and some of these valor stones. So we'll hold off for right now. But we will do that soon. We're up to 640 item level. We're getting pretty close to where we want to be, 650, 660 plus, to really get into those sixes, start grinding stuff out. Let's talk about enchants a little bit, because we're going to want to spend money. We have two really good weapons now, and these are going to be our forever weapons, basically, so we can splurge a little bit on some enchants. You can go to Raider.io, look at the top folks. If you click on their characters, it'll show you what they're enchanting with. It looks like for rogues, it's weapons, it's radiant power. Expensive. So we need two of these because we have a main hand and an offhand. So we're just going to send it. And this enchant, dealing damage, has a chance to call upon that authority, smiting your target for 240k radiant damage and increasing your primary stat by 2200. So pretty good enchant there. You can see here with my character panel add-on, there are a lot of different enchants you can get. There's also gem sockets that we haven't really talked about yet. You can look at all the available enchants in item enhancements. I would recommend filtering by current expansion only, because like head enchants, for example, there is one that we can get that we should definitely go get from an event that's happening right now, but for the most part there's no head enchants that you can purchase. Neck enchants, these are all from old expansions, so it says like cannot be applied to items above level 376, and then if you look for an expansion only, there's none from this expansion. So slots that we can enchant right now are cloak, chest, bracers, weapons, rings, boots, and legs. The only thing with legs is cloak, chest, bracers, those are all enchant cloak, enchant chest. With legs, they're actually armor patches and armor kits, and for casters, for cloth wearers, intellect users, they're spell threads. So if I'm looking, I can see Stormbound armor kit is the one that the rogue that I'm looking at is using. This increases our agility by 930, and we gain 895 stamina, which means bigger health pool. For cloak, they're using Leeching Fangs, which grants leech and you heal while out of combat. Leeching Fangs cost 2,700 at rank 3. My cloak is veteran track, so I'm not super interested in spending a shirtload of gold on it. You can look at some of the lower ranked ones, so I could get Whisper of Silken Leech, which is 665 leech for 125 gold, so maybe we'll start with that one. And for the chest, Crystalline Radiance, which is 3,100 gold. Chest enchants relatively on the high side. Maybe we'll hold off for right now. Wrist. Got leech avoidance, so we'll grab another leech one. Oh, they put avoidance on theirs. Probably doesn't matter though. It's a little cheaper. We'll take that. We talked about secondary stats a long time ago. We'll talk about them again just really briefly. God, Defender's March. I don't know if that's worth it. Veteran track boots. We'll wait. We'll do finger. So finger, there's a couple different ones. The cursed ring enchants will take away your verse and grant you a different stat. We don't want that. So we can do things like radiant versatility, which will just give us flat versatility, or radiant haste, and then the lower versions of these are glimmering. So we're going to pick up 2 glimmering haste enchants for more haste. We talked about secondary stats like critical strike, haste, mastery, and versatility. Excuse me. Those are the main secondary stats. There are also what are called tertiary stats. And that's what a lot of these enchantments are going to give us. So we're just going to plop on a couple enchants. And then you can also add sockets to your jewelry by purchasing a setting. I'll show you that on the auction house really quick. But tertiary stats can roll on gear. So you could see, I don't think I have any examples of it. Well, something had speed, I thought. Yeah, so this ring, for example, haste, mastery, and 1000 speed. So you can roll tertiary stats on gear, and then some of it can also come from enchants. So like the enchants that we had on our wrist are for avoidance, and on our cloak are for leech. You can see those secondary stats or tertiary stats got added to our character sheet here down at the bottom. So leech returns a portion of your damage and healing as healing to you. So 0.65% with this small leech enchant. Avoidance reduces the damage taken from area of effect attacks. So just with the avoidance from 710 avoidance, we're reducing AoE damage by 1.3%. Again, this one is not the most powerful avoidance one. We can get more from this. And then speed just increases my movement speed by 6%. So that's all coming from this ring that we got. So it just means that we're moving faster. And then settings and gems. You can add settings to amulets and rings by purchasing this from the auction house. Is a magnificent jeweler's setting. Jewelry can have up to 2 sockets. You can see these are red because I haven't added sockets to these. So I can add 6 sockets across my gear, 2 to each ring, 2 to my necklace. I'm not doing that yet just because they're champion and veteran pieces. I want to make sure that I'm being conscious. You can see here, we just spent half our money crafting a weapon, buying some enchants. So we're just going to hold off on that for a little bit. But if you have hero gear or myth gear, you can definitely put a socket in there. I mean, you can put it in champion gear if you have some gold. Don't worry about it. But we want to be a little frugal because we can craft more gear at a higher item level with our sparks. We can do that next time. And then gems. So gems, I would recommend also using the current expansion filter for this one. And you can see all the different gems that are here. So gems just basically provide secondary stat. They're all under the multiple stats and other section for this expansion. So basic gems, you don't have to ever worry about the ambers. The ambers have mostly stamina and a little bit of main stat. What you want are the rubies, emeralds, onyx, and sapphires. And they will contribute, for example, this quick onyx, 147 mastery and 49 haste. So there's all these different stat combinations. Emeralds are heavy in haste and then light in the other stats. So if I search for emeralds, I can see versatile emerald is haste verse, deadly is haste crit, masterful is haste mastery, and that's it. And then if I search onyx, I can see deadly is Onyx is mastery, so deadly is mastery crit, quick is mastery haste, verse is mastery verse. So there's different combinations that you can do here. You can sim your character to find out which ones are best. But the other gems that are available in this expansion are these Blasphemites. So Blasphemites have additional effects. So they, first of all, they grant primary stat instead of secondary stat. You can only equip one. And they also have an additional effect. So cubic is 181 primary stat, insightful is 181 plus 1% max mana per unique Algari gem color. Elusive is 2% movement speed per gem color, and culminating is 0.15% critical effects per unique gem color. So what folks will normally do is they'll grab the Blasphemite that's best for them. It looks like for the rogue, they're using the critical strike one because it is a little bit more damage. Healers sometimes will use the mana one, especially like shamans. And then sometimes folks will use the movement speed one, especially if they're like raiders. You can get a pretty decent amount of movement speed. It's 2% per Algari gem color. So what does that mean? So when we're talking about the gems, the base gem color, so you can get 1x multiplier for sapphire, 1 for ruby, 1 for emerald, 1 for onyx, and that's it. Emerald, ruby, sapphire, onyx. I think that the amber does count, but because it has stamina, people don't normally do that, so they'll get 4x of those. So you want to find the best combination for your characters. So for example, my character likes haste verse, so I'm gonna get, for the sapphire, because it's a versatility, I'm gonna get quick sapphire, big verse, little haste. From emerald is haste, so I'm gonna get versatile emeralds because it's big haste, little verse. So I've got 2 covered already. We just need to do ruby and onyx. Ruby is critical strike. I want to prioritize haste, so I'm gonna get the quick ruby, big crit, little haste, and then for onyx, I'm gonna get the quick onyx, big mastery, little haste. And that's gonna give us 4, 1 of each color, which is going to mean that I will get the maximum bonus that I can. It could mean 8% movement speed, or in this case, it is 0.6% critical effect plus the 181 primary stat. So I would recommend slapping the Blasphemite into your belt just because your belt's going to stick around for a little bit, but that's just being cheap. So enchants, gems, sockets. We talked about crafting gear. We got our weapon crafted. We're looking pretty good. We've got some goals for next time. And we're going to be doing a lot of these videos back to back to back because it is creeping up on the new patch. So we'll start again tomorrow. Goals for tomorrow are, we got to get into dungeons. Like, it's all about getting into dungeons from here on out. So we've finished the Liberation of Undermine campaign. We crafted the heroic weapon. We need to get our 4-piece tier set. We need to start upgrading our gear, and we need to start gaining IO score. So we're going to do that. We want to start by doing 4 mythic dungeons so that we get this other heroic cache. So we'll start with like +2s and go from there and try and like level up our own key just like we did last week. We'll get the, you know, the 4 +2s or +3s or +4s done. We'll get a little bit of loot from that, and then we'll pop open this cache, see what we get from there. That's when we'll make our final catalyst decision, which is ridiculous. I should just be catalyzing what I have to get the 4-piece, but it would be nice to catalyze that hero gear. So we'll see what we get from the chests, and as we spam dungeons, we're just going to fill everything out with hero gear. So It won't be too bad in the long run, but it's not too taxing in those +2s and +4s. We don't really need the 4 set quite yet, so we'll start there. We got some big upgrades with the weapons, and then the other thing we're going to do is we're just going to finish upgrading this belt. So we'll run some delves in between dungeon queues, but that's going to be pretty much it. And then we'll try and sneak in. It'll probably have to be right at the very end. We'll try and sneak into Ahead of the Curve raid just to sneak that achievement, although that's going to be really tough. Maybe we'll have to do a normal full clear first just to get that on our Raider IO so that people will even pick us up for some heroic kills. But yeah, we'll hit all that next time. So thanks for staying up late with me. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the folks who hopped on to watch on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, definitely feel free to drop that in the comments below on YouTube. And hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps, really motivates me to keep making these videos. And I'll catch y'all next.